Here I am indeed. Steve in Portland, Oregon, brings up something that Kathy said, or a follow-up to it, really. He says, Art, if 9/11 was truly an inside job, real patriots wouldn't leave their country. They'd stay and bring the criminals to justice. Steve, here's what I'd say. If 9/11 was an inside job, it'd be so far gone, baby, that you wouldn't bring anybody to justice, and more than likely you'd end up dead. Now, that said, Kathy brings up a very good point. I'm not afraid to talk about anything. And based on that and her challenge, we'll pick a night and we'll talk about 9/11. Now, I don't need anybody from either side, experts, to be part of that. I'd just kind of like to sample the public opinion out there, and real unscreened open lines are the way to go. Because, you just get an absolutely fair sample that way. So I'll just pick a night, Kathy, if you're listening, and we'll rock and roll with that a bit. All right, listen. Coming up now, this hour, Colm Kelleher. He's a Ph.D., so it's Dr. Kelleher, really. He is a research scientist and author currently in the biotechnology sector. Dr. Kelleher is a biochemist with a 20-year research career in cell and molecular biology. Following his Ph.D. in biochemistry from the University of Dublin, Trinity College in 1983, Dr. Kelleher worked at the Ontario Cancer Institute, the Terry Fox Cancer Research Laboratory, and the National Jewish Center for Immunology and Respiratory Medicine. Before moving to the biotechnology sector as a senior research scientist, Dr. Kelleher worked as project manager and team leader at a private research institute from 1996 through 2004, using forensic science methodology to unravel scientific anomalies. So, in a moment, Colm Kelleher. Also with us this hour is the legendary George Knapp, who's an 8-time Emmy Award-winning journalist whose reporting on Nevada's infamous Area 51 military base was selected by UPI, United Press International, as Best Individual Achievement by a Reporter in 1989. Other awards include the Associated Press's Mark Twain Award for news writing and the Edward R. Murrow Award for investigative reporting. George is an anchor and reporter just over the hill for the CBS affiliate KLAS-TV, and he also writes a weekly column for a Las Vegas newspaper. So, George Knapp and Colm Kelleher, welcome to the program.
Hey, Art, how you doing? Art?
Aha! Both at the same time. George, quickly for you, I billed you as the legendary George Knapp because people have been doing that to me, calling me legendary, and it feels so, I don't know.
It makes me feel old. I think
that's what it does.
I'd rather be nefarious than legendary.
Well, to some, I'm sure you are nefarious. It's great. Boy, how long, George, since we have spoken?
Gosh, a couple of years, 4 or 5 years.
At least. Yes, at least.
Welcome back to this neck of the woods, Art.
It's great to be here. And Colm, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Art. It's good to be with you again.
Okay, so I guess the way it's arranged, you'll be with us for an hour, Colm? Is that correct?
Yes, I've got to go back to work, unfortunately, after the hour.
Oh, okay. All right, well then I'll try and direct a little more toward you than George in the first hour, but both of you are up for this because, I want to go back over the ranch. I spent a day with Bob Bigelow this last week, and boy, what a day it was. I got a tour of the aerospace facility, and Bob talked a little bit in that conversation about the ranch, and I thought that things had calmed down, but according to Bob, it's still going on. True?
Yes, I think that's very true. Not only on the ranch, but in the entire area around the ranch. As I think listeners probably know, that area of northeastern Utah near Vernal and Roosevelt has been a hotbed for pretty well 50 years. And the ranch is right in the middle of that hotbed. So the activity really took off when this family moved on in 1994. And then went through a frenetic series of incidents up till about the year 2000. Then it sort of got quiet. But, yeah, everything we're hearing is exactly the same as what you were told.
George, have you been up there investigating, ever?
Many times. I went 3 times in the past year. The last time I was there was in October. Mostly what's happened is since the book came out, a lot of people have come out of the woodwork with their own stories about things they've seen up in that area. Colum and Bob Bigelow were kind enough to allow me there the first time back in 2002. I'd been pestering them because I was seeing the reports from the ranch,
Yes.
although I couldn't tell anybody about it, and it really drove me crazy. And they gave me permission to go ahead and bring a camera to begin work on a documentary, and I've been back, I think, 10 times now. And it's just about as weird as it gets. And each time we've gone back, we've found new witnesses who've added new pieces to the puzzle, but we're no closer to any answers, that's for sure.
Do either one of you have any idea why the ranch, in fact, the area that you describe, is such a hotbed?
I think there's hotspots throughout the world and the United States, and this one just seems to have been going on for decades, if not centuries. Even if you go back into the Native American legends, and the Ute tribe is very prominent and right in that area, you can go back word of mouth 10 to 15 generations, and it's always the same. In fact, I believe there's writings from Father Escalante that document a weird flying object. I think that's going all the way back to the 18th century. So that particular area, for whatever weird reason, has been a hotbed for decades, if not centuries.
All right, I've had, of course, a series of scientists on the program. I had one last night, and I asked her about this sort of thing, and it was her opinion that vibrational frequencies cause the human brain to see and experience the kinds of things that go on in the ranch and, of course, elsewhere in the world, but that it's entirely going to be explicable, and there's nothing weird about it. There are not ghosts. There are not things that move. There are not any of this. It's all, she said, in the human brain, and a specific vibrational frequency that causes people to see and experience these kinds of things. How would you respond to that?
Well, there's physical evidence. There's ample physical evidence at the ranch in particular that NIDS examined over a period of several years. Vibrational frequencies don't carve up cattle. Vibrational frequencies don't dig giant chunks of soil hundreds of pounds out of the ground. They don't leave tracks on the ground. They don't cause odors. That's a nice theory, but it doesn't explain what happened at the ranch. Not even close.
I mean, one of the famous cases on the ranch happened in March of 1997, when we were called up to the ranch to investigate this 84-pound calf that had been found on the property, and we had a veterinarian with us. He went through all of the pathological findings, did a full necropsy on the animal, and the first thing that he found was this sharp instruments had been used on this animal. It was subsequently verified through 2 forensic labs. So, vibrational frequencies, I think, are all very well for the the observer who has nothing except observation. But when you start getting physical evidence, as George has just said, I think that vibrational theory begins to
vibrate away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That particular case, Art, was pretty weird. It was one of the most dramatic of all the mutilation cases that NIDS ever investigated. It was 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and the rancher and his wife were out tagging the ears of newborn calves. They were maybe 50 yards from their ranch house. I mean, it's flat ground, if you've ever seen video of what the property looks like. And they tag the ear of this calf. They go another 100 yards or so, and after maybe a half an hour, they hear this noise. The dog makes a noise looking back in the direction where this calf had been tagged. They see the mother cow sort of dragging its leg, walking around in a circle, obviously upset. They go running back there, and this calf had been completely stripped of flesh. I mean, all basically that was left was bone and hide in broad daylight, right there in clear sight of where they were. No sound, no tracks, no anything. Very strange.
Mm.
Yeah, very strange indeed. All right, well, it's the Gorman family, right, that's the focus of the book, Skinwalker?
Yes.
That's the name we're using, yes.
Yeah, okay. An obvious question is, with even a fraction of this going on, who in their right minds